Welcome to the Sunset Stories channel. Don't forget to subscribe and share your favorite stories with your friends. Thanks for your support and enjoy watching. My name is Anna Rogers. I live with my parents in a small town called Willow Creek, in a modest two-story house whose fence was leaning a bit and whose garden had grown unruly over the years. My younger sister, Ava, used to live here too, but after college she moved out of state, coming back only for the holidays. I was engaged to Michael Cooper. We planned to get married in the fall. Michael worked for a small architectural firm and dreamed of designing his own house by the lake, cozy but classy, as he loved to say. I, too, had my dreams, settling down, traveling with Michael, and maybe even opening a little bookstore someday. Everyone said Michael and I were perfect for each other. He was polite, reliable, and always helped my parents, fixing the old fence, chatting with my dad about politics or baseball, or admiring new rose varieties with my mom. No one suspected that our close-knit family was about to crack under the weight of a terrible betrayal, involving none other than my own sister. Michael Cooper was originally from a neighboring town called Maple Falls. His family owned several small furniture stores, selling simple wooden pieces. From his father, he inherited a natural talent for putting people at ease. He had a friendly smile that instantly earned everyone's trust. We first met at a charity event held at Willow Creek's local library. I was volunteering to organize a used book sale to raise funds for the children's reading room, and Michael stopped by to donate. He noticed how passionately I spoke about getting kids excited to read and said my sincerity impressed him. It felt genuine, not like I was pushing an agenda. We ran into each other again later at a casual get-together with friends, and that's when we really clicked. Michael was ambitious. He hoped to become a well-known architect someday, but also humble, which I found appealing. Tired of shallow dating experiences, I appreciated the balance between his drive and his sweet nature. But my younger sister, Ava, was suspicious right from the start. At a family dinner, one of the first times Michael joined us, she bombarded him with questions. "Feels like I'm being interrogated at the airport," Michael joked, setting down his fork. "Maybe," Ava replied with a raised eyebrow. "I have to see if you're good enough for my sister." Everyone laughed, but I sensed a faint tension. Ava had always been overprotective, and I figured she was just looking out for me. It never crossed my mind that there might be a deeper rivalry lurking underneath her teasing. After about a year together, Michael proposed. It happened at sunset by a lake we often strolled around. He knelt on one knee, offered a small ring box, and said the sweetest words. Tears of happiness spilled down my cheeks as I said yes. We hurried to tell my parents, who insisted on hosting the wedding reception in their spacious backyard. Summer arrived, and we decided on a fall wedding to avoid the scorching heat and keep our guests more comfortable. Although Ava lived out of state, she offered to help plan. She volunteered to find the DJ, the photographer, and a band for the ceremony. Her frequent visits to Willow Creek under the pretext of wedding business, however, meant spending a lot of time with Michael. Early on, I didn't think twice about them laughing together while testing decorations or discussing music selections. But gradually, I noticed how they sometimes looked at each other. If I showed up unexpectedly, they would abruptly stop talking or act startled, as if I had caught them in the middle of something. I try to shrug it off. It's great that Ava and Michael get along. My sister and my fiancé cooperating so well can only be good for the family. It never occurred to me that an innocent bond could grow into something forbidden. In the meantime, Michael began acting differently. He came home late from work more often, claiming he had new projects. Though I sensed a shift, I believed him. But I'd see him texting at odd hours, and whenever I came near, he would lock his phone screen in a hurry. Ava started coming to town nearly every weekend, supposedly to finalize wedding details. Once I got home from my library shift and found them laughing in our backyard. As soon as they spotted me, they both fell silent. We were just discussing music ideas for the ceremony. Ava said, trying to sound casual. "Yeah," Michael nodded, refusing to meet my eyes. That night, I couldn't sleep. A small voice in my head whispered that something was off. But I pushed the thought away, telling myself I was just being paranoid. Seeking clarity, I invited my closest friends, Kathy and Megan, to a favorite cafe in town called Lavender Lane. It's known for lavender-infused tea, pastel-colored pastries, and shelves filled with secondhand novels. Kathy noticed my distress right away. "Anna, you look tense. What's going on?" "I'm not even sure how to say this," I replied, nervously stirring my tea. "I'm worried Michael and Ava are, I don't know, too close. Am I overreacting?" Megan shrugged thoughtfully. "If you feel something is wrong, maybe there is, but it could also be a misunderstanding. Talk to him. Tell him how you're feeling." I sighed and promised I would try. I hated feeling like the jealous fiancé. That evening, I confronted Michael. He was busy reviewing architectural blueprints at our kitchen table. "Michael," I said softly, "I'm uncomfortable with how much time you spend with Ava, especially without me. Maybe it's just my nerves, but it's really bothering me." He gave me a concerned look. "Anna, I'm sorry if it seems suspicious. Ava's helping with the wedding plans, and we sometimes meet or text about it. I'll make sure to tell you next time we're working on wedding stuff, so you're not caught off guard." Despite my lingering unease, I tried to trust him. After all, he'd never given me a major reason to doubt him before. My younger sister, Ava, was 2 years behind me in school. She hopped from one idea to another after college, dabbling in advertising, marketing, and fleeting notions of launching an online accessory shop. She craved excitement and chafed at the kind of stable life she felt I had. Over drinks one evening, Ava confessed to a friend that she envied me, my calm, steady relationship with Michael. She mentioned that whenever he opened up about his worries to her, a spark flared between them. It was a dangerous spark that neither of them tried hard enough to douse. One day, I stumbled upon hard evidence. Michael had forgotten his work phone at our place, and it buzzed with a text from Ava. "Can't wait to see you again. Last night was amazing." My hand shook as I read through their conversation, loaded with emotional confessions and hints of secret meetups. Every doubt I'd brushed aside turned out to be real. That night, I confronted Michael head-on. He tried to deny it, but eventually broke down, admitting his feelings for Ava. "I'm sorry, Anna. It just happened. I never wanted to hurt you." Blinded by tears, I fled our home, wandering around town until daybreak. The messages I had read were undeniable. My plans for the wedding, my entire future, seemed to collapse in one awful moment. Devastated, I moved back to my parents' house. The place where I once felt safe now felt like a hideout from the storm of betrayal. My dad, Robert, and my mom, Maria, were heartbroken to see me in pieces. "Sweetie, what happened?" Mom asked, worried. "I found out Michael's been seeing Ava," I stammered. "I don't know how to forgive them." My dad clenched his jaw, his face a mix of shock and anger. Mom tried to comfort me, urging me to rest, while Ava vanished, likely too ashamed to appear right away. A day later, Ava showed up on our back porch. I was sitting near the old wooden swing, staring at the pond. She approached slowly, her eyes filled with guilt. "Anna, I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I never meant for this to happen. I got jealous of your settled life." Michael seemed to notice something in me, this spontaneity. It just spiraled out of control. Anger and anguish churned inside me. I wanted to scream, but all I could do was force out a few words. "Ava, I can't even look at you right now. Just leave me alone." With tears brimming, she nodded and backed away. I stayed there on the swing, feeling the bond between sisters ripping apart. My friend Megan soon arrived, looking grim. She showed me a social media post from a mutual acquaintance, a shot from a Midnight Owl nightclub the night before. There were Michael and Ava at the bar, appearing very cozy. Michael had claimed to be out of town on a business trip. So much for that lie. "I'm sorry," Megan said quietly, "but you had to know. He obviously isn't where he said he would be." It felt like a final blow. Pain still fresh, I asked Megan to leave so I could deal with my heartbreak alone. Over the next few days, I tried calling Michael. No answer. I tried Ava. No response. It was as if they both disappeared together. My thoughts whirled. Did they run away? Are they just hiding somewhere? Panicking, I called local motels and hotels with the help of my other friend, Kathy, but got nowhere. Even Michael's parents in Maple Falls had no idea where he was. Realizing no one could help, I collapsed into a chair, helpless. Kathy put a comforting hand on my shoulder. "They'll have to surface eventually," she said. "You can't stop living your life, Anna." Returning to my childhood home, I found an old photo album in the attic. Images I had once planned to display at the wedding. Pictures of me and Ava playing together as kids brought fresh tears. I remembered how she was always the rebellious one, while I was the good daughter. Maybe a deeper resentment had festered in her for years. My parents tried to respect my space. I finally mustered the strength to cancel the wedding details, calling the florist, the venue, the photographer, one by one. Explaining we have to cancel was like twisting a knife in my heart each time, but it needed to be done. After a brutal day of cancellations, I sought refuge at Lavender Lane with Kathy. "It's painful, but at least it's a step forward," Kathy reassured me. "You're regaining control over your life, piece by piece." By the end of the day, despite the ache, I felt a faint sense of accomplishment. It was a relief to finalize the details on my own terms. A week later, I received a call from a real estate office. Michael had listed me as a reference on a rental application, calling me his fiancé. The agent needed to verify some financial info. "I'm sorry," I managed, voice shaking. "We're no longer engaged." He must have outdated information. She apologized for the confusion, adding that Michael was looking for a bigger place. So he and Ava were clearly moving forward with their plans. Another stab in my already broken heart. I tried to resume normal life by returning to my job at the library. Mrs. Turner, our head librarian, was kind and welcoming. "Anna, we've missed you. Are you ready to start the children's reading circle again?" I dove into storytime sessions with the kids. A little girl named Sadie looked at me curiously one afternoon. "Miss Anna, are you sad? Your eyes look sad." "Just a little tired," I responded, smiling as gently as I could. Sadie handed me a small hair clip with a pink heart on it, whispering, "This will make you happy." Tears prickled my eyes. Sometimes, the smallest kindness can be so healing. Meanwhile, Michael and Ava had apparently been hiding in a cramped one-bedroom apartment on the outskirts of Willow Creek. Folks in town gossiped, and they avoided most social contact. One day, fed up with guilt, Ava left altogether. She packed her bags while Michael was out and was gone by the time he got home. Now he too was alone. I stayed with my parents, slowly learning how to live with heartbreak. I decided to see a therapist, Dr. Lake, who helped me work through the trauma. In her calm office, lined with books, she told me, "Acknowledging your pain is a major step. It's betrayal on two fronts, your fiancé and your sister. Take it one day at a time." I began a journal and did exercises to name the anger, sadness, and guilt that still churned inside. After some weeks, I noticed I no longer cried every night. My parents said they could see I was laughing more often, talking openly with friends, and sleeping better. And then, late one evening, Michael appeared at my parents' house. Mom answered the door and discreetly informed me he was outside, looking upset. My heart pounded as I stepped onto the porch. "Hey," he said softly, looking thinner than ever. I needed to apologize. Ava left, and I finally see how much pain I've caused you." Compassion, anger, sorrow, all surged at once. "Michael, I've been working hard to heal. Thank you for apologizing, but we can't go back to what we had." "I understand," he whispered, eyes brimming with tears. "And please don't show up unannounced," I added gently. "It's not good for either of us." He nodded and left, offering one last, "I'm sorry." Strangely, I felt relief, like I was closing the door to a terrible chapter of my life. In the following months, I focused on rebuilding myself. I got more involved in the library, helping organize a children's reading festival. Week by week, I felt stronger. I took up yoga and wrote 3 things I was grateful for each day, just like Dr. Lake suggested. My nightmares about Ava and Michael grew less frequent, and the days felt brighter. Then an email arrived from an unfamiliar address. It was Ava. She wrote that she'd moved to another city, landed a job in advertising, and regretted everything that happened. She said she loved me and hoped I could find it in my heart to let her apologize someday. My emotions swirled: anger, sadness, and a flicker of compassion. After talking to Dr. Lake and confiding in Kathy, I sent back a short reply. Ava, I got your message. Thank you for reaching out. I'm not ready for a long conversation yet, but maybe one day we can talk. Anna. I felt some weight lift off my chest, unsure of the future, but open to the idea of eventual closure. A couple of weeks later, we arranged a video call. Ava's face appeared, her once blonde hair now dyed a different color, and she looked thinner and nervous. The conversation was emotional. She told me she had cut things off with Michael because she couldn't handle the shame of betraying me. I admitted I was still angry, but didn't want to hate her forever. In tears, we recognized that we were sisters, no matter what. Months went by, and I genuinely found my footing. The Children's Reading Festival in Willow Creek was a big success, with kids from all over the region showing off their love of books. Standing in front of the crowd, I welcomed everyone with the biggest smile I'd had in ages. Mrs. Turner congratulated me. Let's give a round of applause for Anna Rogers, who organized this festival. My parents looked on, proud and misty-eyed. Even though I was in the very yard where I'd once dreamed of hosting my wedding, I now felt a renewed sense of purpose. That evening, I saw a text from Ava. Saw photos of the festival. I'm proud of you. Sending hugs. I replied simply, thank you. I'm glad we can at least talk again. As I put down my phone, I watched the sun setting in brilliant colors across the sky. It reminded me that every day ends, new one dawns. I felt hope bloom inside me. My scars remained, but they no longer control my life. I was ready to face the future with a braver, more open heart. I survived my fiancé's betrayal right before our wedding, made worse by the fact that he cheated with my own sister. The pain was overwhelming, but with therapy, self-care, and the support of friends and family, I found a path to healing. I channeled my energy into work, into the people who genuinely cared for me, and eventually into making peace with myself. Michael ended up alone, grappling with guilt and regrets, especially after Ava left him. He managed a brief apology, but by then I knew I couldn't go back to what we had. Whatever future he pursued, it was no longer intertwined with mine. Ava fled the judgment in Willow Creek and started over in another city. After months of silence, she reached out. Our road to reconciliation is still uncertain, but at least we're no longer strangers. Perhaps one day we'll fully mend, or at least learn to understand each other better. As for me, I'm no longer consumed by bitterness. The betrayal is part of my history, but not the defining chapter of my life. With each day, I've grown stronger, rediscovering trust in myself and in the possibilities the world holds. Painful as it was, this experience taught me resilience. And in the end, I believe that resilience is worth more than any broken dream. That's the end of our story. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Your feedback means a lot to us.